One take, let's do it casual. Hi everyone, it's that time again. 2:10. Just kidding. It's time for me to cook stuff and for you to watch me cook stuff and for you to like my video and stuff and leave me nice comments, all that stuff. Today's video is sponsored by Stereo. Is this about to be on? It is on. That's good. Today's video is sponsored by Stereo app. You can download it through the link in the description, or you can wait for a bit and then I'll talk about it like halfway through the video and then you can download it through the link in the description. Okay, anyway, today the theme is basic stuff, right? We're gonna cook really basic stuff. I'm hoping that like 80% plus of the ingredients I use are like general household cupboard fillers, do you know what I mean? You might not have everything, but hopefully you've got a lot of the ingredients lying around already. So don't expect any gourmet stuff from me today, or any day in fact. However, we're going basic, we're going high protein, easy, low effort, high reward. That's what we're going with.
All right, first up we are going to do an old favourite and absolute staple of my childhood, the tuna pasta bake. So for this you're going to need pasta. I'm using rigatoni, but you could use fusilli or whatever you have in the cupboards. Tuna, mozzarella, I went with light because fitness, peas, chopped tomatoes, garlic, and then some dried herbs. I've got oregano, basil, and some pepper. First up, we're going to put the pasta on to cook. I'm going to assume instructions for this part aren't really necessary and just move on. Chopped tomatoes go into the pan. You could use passata instead if you've got that lying around, or maybe you have a jar of some kind of tomato-y pasta sauce in the cupboards, whatever really. And I am adding quite a bit of garlic, which I am turning into mush via the use of this microplane because I can't really be bothered chopping it. And then I'm going to go in with the dried basil, oregano and pepper. So when your pasta is nearly done, you can drop your peas in and then bring it back to the boil. And then just take it all off and drain. Get steam on your lens, wipe it off, carry on. Add it all back into the pan and give it a good mix around, and you can add your tuna and then mix it again. To be honest, you probably could have just added the tuna after the pasta and peas and saved yourself one mixing stage there. Put it in a dish ready to go in the oven and then cover it with your mozzarella. If you tear the mozzarella, it kind of like peels and you can get nice thin layers for, you know, maximum surface area coverage. Then just slam it in the oven for a bit. I mean, place it in the oven, you don't need to be aggressive. Nothing really even needs to cook, to be honest, so you're just making it hot and melting your cheese a bit. I actually finished it off under the grill just to get a bit of a crisp on the cheese and on the bits of pasta that was sticking up. And here we have the end result. So considering how basic this is, I think it's easy to see why this is such a household favourite. Beauty can be born from very humble beginnings. Alright, let's move on.
Alright, so I'm back to talk about the sponsor of the video, Stereo. So it's a live broadcasting app, which means I sit there and talk about stuff with other people and you can listen live, right? And then you can also record little voice notes and get involved in the conversation. It's interactive, right? You can ask questions. I did a live Q&A last night. It won't be last night for you because I'll upload this a few days later, but last night for me. I know a lot of you who saw me talk about it in a previous video have already downloaded it and I've already joined us over there, which is cool. I thoroughly enjoy the combos. So to give you an idea of what it's about, I'm going to play a 30-second clip of the most previous show. I guess I'll just stand here while I play it. I don't know what, I might put some clips on the screen while I play it. I might just stand here though, awkwardly. I'll put it there.
You said you had 2 tortilla wraps with Nutella inside. Was that the grimmest part of your lockdown?
Nutella inside tortilla wrap is surprisingly okay. It'll actually do. The grimmest part was probably when I tried to do like a peanut butter and it was like a natural type and it was just dry as fuck. But I didn't have the, I wasn't willing to be seen off by it and not finish it.
Yeah, you can't not finish stuff, man. It's just an insult to your masculinity.
It is. It's an affront. It's an affront.
That's the exact word I was looking for. I feel like Nutella makes a lot of shit better, man.
Oh, you can put on anything, mate. Literally.
Well, yeah, as in like literally, like makes a lot of food better, like tortilla, but also like,
yeah,
obviously emotionally as well.
Yeah.
All right, you can download it through the link in the description. I've got another show coming up soon. You can listen to me, you can get involved, you can say hi. Bye.
Right, next up we're getting in on a TikTok trend that actually deserves the hype. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, I'm just going to show you. So you're going to need a tortilla, eggs, avocado, butter, bacon of your choice. I went with streaky because I just thought that was the right thing for the job, but you could use a less fatty trim or even turkey bacon if you don't want heart disease. And finally some cheese. I think cheddar is a good shout for this. So the bacon goes under the grill first of all, and then we are going to smash up this avocado. You could make full-on guac if you were so inclined, but I don't think it's necessary. Next up, I'm just going to scramble a couple of eggs. You can just use one if you're not a massive bodybuilder who needs all the proteins like yours truly. Next up comes the real masterstroke. Tortilla flat on a chopping board or plate or other flat surface. Make a radial incision from the closest point on the circumference. Now, the order of this is important. Bacon or cheese first. Wet ingredients then go in the top 2 quadrants so that they are fully encased when we fold this up. As I went with bacon first, I'm finishing off with the cheese. Then you're going to fold each quadrant onto the next, starting with the bottom right and moving anti-clockwise. Transfer it into the pan with some butter. Butter is important because you need it to go crispy. Give it a couple of minutes, butter the other side, and then flip it over. Another couple of minutes, you should end up with something like this. Now, I cannot really stress enough how good this shit is. Usually, a tortilla is pretty far down my list of bread-like species of food, but it definitely deserves some love for this. Obviously, you can make it a little less harsh on the arteries with a few modifications, but on this day, I woke up and chose YOLO. Alright, third meal, another absolute classic. Chicken fried rice, for which you need rice, obviously, chicken, obviously, egg, some veg. I'm going with sweet corn, carrot and spring onion, and then finally some soy and sesame oil. Now, I happen to cook my rice in a rice cooker for 2 reasons really. First is that it's basically moron proof, really hard to overcook or undercook rice in a rice cooker. Second is that it's good for cooking a few portions at once, which you can then keep for a few days and do whatever you want with. Alright, let's chop stuff up. So, white ends of the spring onion are going to go to one side, they'll go in the pan with everything else. The green ends are just to garnish, really make shit look pretty. I'm then going to chop this carrot pretty small because we're only frying it, so it's not going to cook the same as if we were boiling it. It's nice to have a bit of crunch though, ain't it? Finally, the world's worst job, probably second only to pairing up socks, chopping raw chicken. So that's enough of that, let's move on. So oil in the pan, followed by the chicken. Then we're just going to cook this through as you normally would before removing with a slotted spoon so that you keep whatever juices are in the pan. Next up, veg goes into the pan, should be like a medium to high heat. Give them a few minutes until these soften a bit, and then just push it all over to one side of the pan and scramble your egg in the other side. When that's done, you can re-add the chicken back into the pan, followed by your rice. I mean, you can do the rice first, whatever. It's inconsequential, mate. Then you're going to hit it with copious amounts of soy. Obviously, watch your salt intake, or don't. Who am I to tell you, really? Entirely your prerogative. Give it all a nice mix around, and then I'm actually going to go in with a secret ingredient that's not a secret. I like shit hot, so I'm going to add some chili oil. Obviously, if you don't like spice, then I suppose it goes without saying, don't add chili oil to your meals. So one final mix and then transfer from the pan into the fried rice receptacle of your choice. I'm using a bowl, as is traditional. And the final touch is just those spring onion greens. Again, I feel like we are knocking it out the park today, using like very simple ingredients, no fancy methods. Another classic, no nonsense meal. Let's move on. Alright, easy one. We're getting all like Instagram blogger up in here, right? We're gonna make a smoothie bowl. That's basically a smoothie in a bowl, right? I'm using almond milk, frozen fruit, whey. The rest are just toppings. We got some granola, almonds, desiccated coconut, and some more fruit. So fruit and almond milk into the blending compartment of the blender. Scoop and a bit of whey protein, because I need to use the phrase high protein in this video title. And then we're going to blend it. So ideally you want it to be a good bit thicker than a smoothie. I mean, you want to be like getting out the blender with a spoon rather than pouring it. Obviously I thought I was Billy Big Bollocks and just could eyeball the amounts. Turns out I'm not so clever, so I think this consistency is a bit thinner than you would like in an ideal world. Obviously I could have made it again, but I don't really want to waste food. I'm actually eating all of this stuff that I'm making, so let's just imagine this is a little bit thicker. Alright, now the easy part, just make it look pretty. I think my test levels actually decreased. I would say that's an understatement, probably plummeted as I was placing sliced banana in a perfect column. There's no need for that. Obviously if this wasn't for YouTube, I'd just dump it in and not bother with the whole arts and crafts session, but anyway, I suppose it looks nice. Once again, thanks again to Stereo for sponsoring the video. Hit up the link in the description and come chat to me. Be me mate, please. Right, that's everything. Bye.
Jordy Lenny is my hero.